Hey guys, welcome to another session of RBTL. Here's the big day. Dizzy is released. So after all the speculation, like, oh, could she possibly be an Earth hero? I'm really glad I didn't make that speculation video. I didn't really care, to be honest, but yeah, glad she's ice. So from my knowledge, she is the first mage, like that's not an ML unit being released in this game. So that's kind of cool. But to be honest, from my initial look at it, I'm not too impressed. I'm still gonna pull for her, and I still think that she's cool because she's a limited hero, and I love guilty gear. She was like, well, I'll say this, I'll admit this, I crushed on her pretty hard, when I was younger. She was like the waifu, man. So I will definitely pull for her, and I think she'll still have her uses, but I'm gonna go through her kit and kind of talk about where my experiences of in arena, in GVG, because of the arrival of ML Aramintha and Sage Baal and Sezan. People have been setting up their defense teams and even their offense teams to counter the status effects or the debuffs from ML Aramintha and Sage Baal and Sezan, and because people are running those counters and have that in mind, I feel that Dizzy doesn't really have a place in our meta right now. And again, I'm gonna try to do her justice by doing this with an unbiased view, because I do think that she has potential to be really cool and could be pretty strong in mostly GVG. The reason I say GVG is because most of the times, if people are building a full team just to counter ML Aramintha and ML Baal, they're gonna be lacking some stats. It's just impossible to get perfect stats, especially in GVG. It's really hard because you're setting up a team comp of only 3 heroes, and if one team has a strong counter to, let's say, debuffs, the other team may not. But of course, as time goes on, as people are farming more gear, I do think that is going to change until we get some heroes that can, are hard counters to ML Aramintha and Sage Baal and Sezan without high effect resistance and immunity sets. I don't think Dizzy's gonna really shine. But regardless, because she's limited, like I said, I will be pulling for her, and her artifact is really good. So let's take a look here first at her skill sets. I would say this, that one thing is actually we should notice is that she is a Taurus. So we did know that based on the catalysts that were available for the event that you can farm, and we knew that, but we just didn't know what class she was. We all assumed that she was either a mage or soul weaver. Kind of fits her character, but of course, people were just saying, oh, she's a warrior, she's a knight or whatever, just trolling. But because she's a Taurus and a mage, we know that her base stats are the same as Sage Baal and Sezan. Her imprint is different though. You keep in mind that it's an attack percentage. So because it's attack percentage one, but she's a debuffer kind of support hero, I would say that having her with some imprints, let's say if you have the bookmarks, you have the resources, if you're chasing for her artifact, having a couple of her imprints is not too bad. Usually attack percent imprints are not terrible on a support unit because you're trying to buff up your either nuker or cleaver or something along those lines. So it's not too bad. Compared to Baiken, for example, she has attack percent too, but Baiken really needs her on herself. So for her to have it's not bad. I was hoping that she would have speed imprints, because if she had speed imprints, it would give me all the excuse to go ham on this banner, as in triple S her for the speed imprint, and then hopefully get one or two of her artifacts. It did occur to me though that we do have the powder of knowledge, I believe that's what it's called, in the powder shop. Yes, it's very, very expensive. It's what, 60 more powder compared to a 5-star artifact. But because these are limited artifacts like Torn Sleeve, if you get one of them and you wanted to max enhance them, they just take time. If you're a free to play player, it would just take you maybe years, okay, let's say years, to get enough powders of knowledge to be able to max enhance the artifact, to get it to max limit break to get it to max enhancement. Because the max enhancement here is actually quite a big difference, but I'm going to talk about it in a bit. Alright, so let's go to the kit. I'm jumping all around here. because it's too much going on in my mind. Hey guys, I'm gonna give you guys a shout out as I'm swapping into the skill sets here. Ricklington, of course, Jonathan King, hello. But Jonathan King is talking about another game. I don't care, man. I don't care. A Karando, A Dragon Lano, Celeb Duin. He's like, yo, yo, yo. Kirozino says, hi, Dragon. Long time no see. And Lawton, of course. Hello. So, everyone getting shout outs. Everybody getting shout outs. Alright, so let's do this. So, okay, so let's take a look. Alright, so same stats as ML, Sage, Baal, and Sezan because he's a Taurus mage. Recently released, of course, attack is 1039. This is, of course, 6-star and 6-star awakened. Okay, keep that in mind. Health is 5299. Speed is 115. Defense is 673. No bonus in the crit chance. No bonus in the crit damage. But there is effectiveness in it. And effect resistance. So in her awakenings, they should be identical. Okay, so to keep that in mind, because this is in a support role, I am kind of glad that she's not a cleaver. I recently pulled ML Mercedes, and I was like, I don't know if I want to invest in ML Mercedes because, you know, what if Dizzy's a cleaver, but she's not. Okay, AOE, debuffer, support unit, mage. So in a way, sort of like Sage, Baal, and Sezan. So her awakenings are like totally fitting for her. Pretty decent HP, especially for a mage. Decent attack already. It's not terrible. It's still like pretty well scalable, but I'm pretty sure most people won't be aiming for high attack until we see the damage mods. So my current thought on the build you should go for and what stats you should aim for will be dependent on the mods from her skills, which we'll probably see later this afternoon after during the maintenance or something like that. So credit to those who are always data mining and giving us those benefits. We're always watching that live Google Doc, like actually watching it live like nerds. We're just like waiting, come on data mine. Anyways, but a pretty decent speed, and because she can boost her own CR and with her artifact, and she could CR pushback, her speed will come into play for sure. Anyways, let's take a look. S1 attacks all enemies with powerful magic, 25% chance to stun on every enemy. Of course, it being an S1, it's not as broken as ML Aramintha's 100% stun rate, but 25%, fine, I'll take it. Deals increased damage to debuffed enemies. Now, the only reason I think that this may be a higher mod on her S1 is because I think in her turn rotation, after I looked at all her skills, you're not gonna be really, I don't know, it could be pretty high, but the thing is, because of resist meta, because of immunity meta, being so hard to actually land debuffs, I do believe that the increased damage in the S1 could potentially be double the mod of the S1, which will definitely be good. Anything less than double, I don't think it's gonna be that great. But anyways, we'll have to see. Again, 25% stun rate compared to ML Aramintha, even though yes, people will say ML Aramintha, it takes mystics, you either have to be a whale, you have to be really lucky, and she's gonna be a pity banner. So yeah, the 25%, I'll take it. Judging the meta again, though, 25% not really easy to land. You can't even increase it, if you skill enhance this. So I'm pretty sure the skill enhancement is just damage only, and not the percent chance. I would have wished for like at least a 35, even a possibility of a 35 or 40%. That would be really nice, but I can't complain. S2, I'm gonna only look at the after awakening portion. Lowest is 3 turns, so you can tell that with your skill enhancements, you can lower that to 3 turns. Not bad. Again, AOE attacks all enemies with a powerful ray, extending the duration of any debuffs by 1 turn, except those which prevent the enemies from moving. So things like sleep, things like stun, which thank goodness, because you can imagine if people have ML Baal and Sezan and ML Aramintha already doing all those debuffs on your team, you don't want those to be extended. Please no. Please, Smilegate, never make anyone that can extend those debuffs, because man, if you're put to sleep for 2 turns, well actually the sleep doesn't matter, you wake pretty much on impact, but put in the stun for 2 turns, man, that would be so annoying. But yes, duration of debuffs for one more turn, but then only for those that are like poison, bleed, burn, attack down, defense down, etc. But also decreases combat readiness by 50%. Now, another thing I do have to mention, again, where we are in the meta, especially in PvP, I mean, it won't even take you that far to start feeling the effect of the cascade effect. You can be like anywhere in Challenger right now, and people are running like over 100% effect resistance. If they're not doing it, they definitely have immunity. They're running immunity heroes, so C, Armin, Angelica, just really annoying to deal with. So Dizzy really needs someone to actually set up a D-spell before she goes. Yes, you can put Leela Violin on if you actually farm that artifact, but Leela Violin happens after you do your attack. So every one of her attacks does some kind of debuff, but it won't happen until after. So if you have immunity or high effect resistance, you're not going to be pushed back combat readiness wise. So if you're running Dizzy, no matter her mods, because her role is mainly a debuffer, pushing people back, putting status ailments on them, you do need to run high effectiveness. And again, like I said, to match the meta of high effect resistance, you need at least 150 effectiveness or higher, potentially. That means effectiveness sets in her with most likely speed set, and you want effectiveness ring. A T85 would be great because you get a 60 right there, and a ton effectiveness substats. One of my major things that I want to drop from my Wyvern hunts now are actually effectiveness and effect resistance rings, which originally it was like all attack and whatnot, but now because of the meta shift, I really want those. Ruby is just bringing this. Yeah, you can bring her with Abysmal Crown because all her skills are AoE. That'd be good. Yeah, Crow X. Yeah, Harado would be nice to set up, but again, Harado is nice, but again, role compression wise, if people have Sage, Baal, and Sezan, he would be the dispeller, not Harado. In that case, I think at least he's a much stronger Harado. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying, because of what I'm experiencing right now in PvP and GVG, that's why her kit doesn't seem that good. I think given like 2 months before, if Dizzy was released like 2 months before, I think everybody would be super excited about the kit. You're just like, yes man, you imagine the havoc I can wreak in Arena, but nope. Emma Aramintha and Sage Baal are a thing, so she kind of sucks. Her S3 is interesting. I do kind of like this aspect. So unleashes a giant explosive attack to all enemies, again AoE. The attack misses, so if the attack misses, you still inflict all the status effect. Now notice that there is no percentage to it, so it's 100% proc rate. All right, it's 100% proc rate. So I'm pretty sure that this has to have some kind of high damage mod in order for her to be worth it whatsoever, because we would really like this skill to do some damage and not just the debuffs. Now if it does have high damage mods with all those debuffs, that is very, very good, and I would say that if she has high damage mods, she's actually decent, because if you're not going to use her just for the debuffs, and if people are going to resist it, being just AoE damage dealer constantly would be really good. So for example, let's say if you're taking on like Spectre Tenebria teams, right? Spectre Tenebria, really annoying because she's always in stealth, perma stealth until you can kill all of the team. So having her always doing AoE damage constantly is pretty nice. If you can have like a bait, like let's say F Maya to bait away Spectre Tenebria, she can be really nice in like those kind of fights, right? So it's not that she's worthless, but definitely not super crazy. But decrease in speed, decrease in attack, and hit chance for 2 turns regardless is very, very nice. But of course, that is pending if you can actually land those debuffs. 100% proc, you need high effectiveness because you have to assume they have high effect resistance. Or they have heroes that can either cleanse debuffs on the next turn, so Katie Clarissa, Destina, or people that have immunity up. So it's really annoying. So I'll have to see. I think that you know, she has a place, but I think she'll shine more in GVG, if anything. In PvE content, I don't think her kit really lends well to it, especially in serious PvE content. And in the case of like going Abyss, some bosses can't get debuffed. If you debuff them, something bad happens to you, or some of the effects that she has are immune completely to certain hunts and certain bosses. So, you know, does she have a place? I suppose so. And her mods are pretty good. I think she could be a Banshee Hunter too. So Baiken and her combined, interesting. Her artifact, I would say it's like a must pull. If you already heard my review on Baiken's banner saying that Torn Sleeve is a really good to have, and if you were going for Dizzy and you got her on a pity, but you got, you know, Baiken's artifact, times that by 100% for this one. All right, for this one, it's a must have. Like, heck, that's why I'm saying that, because she has attack percent, I'm like, kind of don't want her imprints, but because of my Baiken pulls, and I know my luck, you know, whatever I want, I just never get. So for Baiken, I went to one full pity, and I pulled another like 30 bookmarks to get a second Baiken. I'm just like, okay, never mind, I'm gonna call it a quits. All right, because at RNL, Baiken can work with both Torn Sleeve and RNL and maybe future artifacts, but this mage artifact is very, very unique in the sense that we don't have anything like this right now. Of course, it's only pending AoE attacks. If you read it, of course, let's read the max. Increases the caster's combat readiness by 20% after an AoE attack. This effect is not activated by a counterattack, dual attack, or an extra attack. That's fine. And of course, that handicap is really mostly for her. Most mages on their S1, so when you could proc the dual attack, you proc the S1. Most mages have only a single target attack, so it doesn't apply to them. But of course, this is only to lock because Dizzy has an AoE S1. So this is obviously to say that, yeah, it won't work on her if you dual attack or an extra attack, which is fine. If you get one copy of the artifact and you max enhance it, so at a plus 15, you should have a 15% CR boost. All right, so level 6 artifact, you have a 15% CR boost, which is not bad at all. But I'm saying that if you have one copy and you are a free to play player, you can't get multiple copies, or if you're unlucky, I mean, you can, again, like I said, use the Powder of Knowledge to expand it if you really need that extra 5%. Now, in terms of actual like you know, the effectiveness or the actual visibility of this artifact, 5% combat readiness difference can make a world of difference. That's why I'm saying that this artifact, if anything, if you don't get multiple copies of it, getting it through the powder knowledge thing, the bottle, is actually worth it. A 5% CR boost for every AoE attack can make a huge difference when you're fighting, right? 5 attacks, you get 100%, which means you move down the timeline to get your turn. That's even if you don't move. All right, that's even if you don't move, because I'm not calculating like your speed versus the other people's speed. But 15%, you won't get that, right? You won't get that until like 6, which is a big difference. One turn is a big difference. Let's see here. I mean, I'm not gonna read Aline's comment. If her mods are nice, I'll just build her crit damage and never use the S3. She's pretty meh. By the way, if you run Baiken as a damage dealer slower than Dizzy, you can lap easily while using the artifact on her. Right? Because so you're illustrating the fact that I was talking about it during Baiken's review as well. That Baiken can be a second turn CR booster. Is that what you're talking about? So second turn CR booster would be very nice for Dizzy. Yeah, for sure you can lap, for sure, if you have her artifact, and especially with high speed. So 115 speed is her base speed, and that's not bad at all. That's not bad whatsoever. Sage, Baal, and Sezan are easily built for 220 speed, at least what I've seen in Arena, and I'm pretty sure they can get faster than that too. But yeah, exactly. Another 25% from Baiken. Yeah, so they work pretty well together, and I would have to say though, they do work well together in terms of kit wise too, right? because you can extend the duration of the debuffs. So, and deal the increased damage with Dizzy. So Dizzy can set up for Baiken. Now, I'm not saying like they're the perfect duo, but it's just interesting that both of them kind of work off each other. And yeah, and like you said, if Baiken is built slower than Dizzy, I think this could be interesting. Now, the only thing is obviously she doesn't have any bleed bleed debuffs, but she can extend Baiken's debuffs, so it's kind of cool. So let's say if you use Baiken, you clear the debuffs because you want to one-shot like one person out of GVG or PvP, but you proc RNL, let's say, and then you do another S1, right? You have a bleed, but you have to wait a couple turns before her CD returns so you can detonate it. Dizzy can extend those debuffs for 2 turns, correct? Yeah, for 2 turns. So wait, no, by one turn. So by 1 turn, if they don't cleanse the debuff, by the time Baiken goes, depending on how RNL procs, Baiken can go and detonate again with an even better detonation, because her S1 would have hopefully proc some bleeds in that time. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, but exactly, but immunity and resist meta exists. Yeah, exactly. That's the only thing. So, you know, I was looking at the list of just mages that can really benefit from this, and then, you know, I'll look at the hero journal, benefit from this artifact. The reason why I would say definitely like get this artifact like 100-fold for sure, because it's so good. Most mages are AoE or have some kind of AoE in them, and to set them up for another 20% CR boost for the next turn is incredibly good head start because most mages, if they're not a cleaver, they're a pretty good debuffer, and it's really insane to get them. So like, let's say for example, ML Aramintha, right? If you use her S3, yes, her S1 is single target, but if you use her S3, she has a 20% boost on someone who might already be burned. If you choose S1 on someone who's burned, she boosts her CR by 50%. So that's 70% CR boost. So you're almost lapping. Most likely you're lapping especially slow heroes, but you're almost gonna be lapping like even a fast hero, right? You think about that. That's very insane. Sage, Baal, and Sezan. Of course, I'm not saying that this is gonna be best in slot for any of these mages, okay? That I'm mentioning, but I'm saying they can work depending on how you want to run it. Sage, Baal, and Sezan will work with this as well. So Sage, Baal, and Sezan. Obviously, if you don't use the S2, if the S2 is available, he gets up to a 25% CR boost every time someone attacks, even if they're stunned. As long as there's a turn used, he does a 25% CR boost. If he uses his S2, of course, it's going to be an AoE, and then he can pump his own 20% CR boost, which is really annoying to have on him. Not saying it's perfect, but it can work. Regular Baal and Sezan will work. Aramintha will work. Tenebria would work really nicely. Tenebria has S3 and S2 all AoE. S2 is a CR pushback as well. I think up to a 25%. And then AoE cleave on Tenebria, regular Tenebria, is S3 with a 75% chance defense break. So to set up her to, you know, almost potentially lap some heroes, some opponents, would be really good, because she can go with maybe even benefit from her own defense break, and then use a S2 CR pushback, which can still do pretty decent damage, and you can benefit from the break. So it's pretty good too. Basar is really good as well. Basar having this would be really annoying on an enemy, on your team, because yes, S3, S2 all benefit from it. I won't go into the 4-star heroes, but yeah, Celestial Mercedes would really benefit from it. I think ML Mercedes has up to an 80%, so it's like 20, I think, yeah, it's 80% CR boost for the next turn after she does S3, if she critical hits. Up to 80%. If she does this, she gets 100%. She can 100% lap it. That means no one, even with, let's say, like Idle Cheer trying to push their damage dealer up, should be able to beat ML Mercedes. That means ML Mercedes with this artifact will ideally have her double turn technically before anyone else goes, which can end the cleave. ML Mercedes is one of the strongest cleavers right now in the game, just because she can finish off with an S2, with people, you know, having like a bit of HP left if they survive her S3, right? So it's pretty crazy. Yeah, solo cleaver, says Preetam. So Preetam just talked about that. Auxiliary lots would be interesting with this artifact too. But if you're running him on a attack team, most of the time you're not going to be using his S3 right away. But it's kind of interesting. But yeah, anyways, that's what I'm going to touch upon. Like, Harado can use it if you want, but I don't think it's going to really benefit from him. But anyways, it's pretty cool. So I would definitely say that you have to get this one. Almost every single artifact with some sort of like combat readiness effect is really good. Like, Idle Cheer is like absolutely insane on healers. And again, because this is on a mage, I think this is definitely one to pull for. So if I was gonna review like the hero or the artifact right now, I think the artifact's impressing me way more than the hero. But it's only because of the meta right now. This is not to knock on Dizzy's skill. I have to reiterate that it's not because she's a bad hero, and we still have mods, you know, coming. But it's because of what she's going up against that kind of makes her meh. Okay, that's the only thing I can say. Whereas like ML Aramintha has a really annoying self kit because she has 100% stun, which is really annoying. Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, I'm not gonna touch upon this. Don't need to talk about this. Event, yeah. So week 3. So I know that there's a lot of new players, you know, still posting comments on my reroll video asking me, you know, hey, I got these heroes, like, is it good enough to start? Like, most of the time, guys, like that reroll video is not to say that you must pull these heroes. It's just that if you get them, that's just really good. You're set up for a while. But you know, if you get anyone like a 5-star or 4-star noteworthy, you think it's good enough, I would just start, to be honest. If you guys are new players and you're starting this, you're 3 weeks behind. There's a lot to grind. Soul Bad Guy is a free hero. He's really good. Most likely you'll miss Biken by the time you're watching this video, but I would say you can definitely go for Dizzy as well. If you're a new player, Dizzy would be pretty good for you to start off, because for farming, for completing adventure or your regular story, it would be pretty decent. Okay, let's see here. Continue. Yeah, this is okay. So yeah, for this event, our Junkyard Dog will be in effect again. So Junkyard Dog wasn't working for Biken. It wasn't meant to work, but you can use Junkyard Dog with it. So hopefully, man, I'm so hoping that I really do get the artifact. It was really hard for me to farm Bikens because I didn't get Biken's torn sleeves, so I had no multipliers for my currency drops, and that took me forever. I really like a couple of her artifact, and then I already have Junkyard Dog. So yeah, let's see, continue on. Event currency, no, ribbon hairbrush. Yeah, so this is what we're looking for. Yeah, so Horn of Desire, Blazing Rage, we'll get a couple of them. Six for Horn of Desire. That's not enough to max awaken Dizzy, but at this point, I don't know if I want to max awaken her, to be honest. If she has the same star map as Sage Baal and Sezan, I'm gonna take a look right now. I have the Hero's Journal opened up, so that's for. Take a look at the 5-star. What is it? 6-star is a 12% effectiveness. I'm currently building Assassin Kali, and she needs the same epic artifacts. Sorry, epic catalyst, and I think I'm gonna focus on a Kali first. I really don't think that Dizzy, I mean, unless you are just flowing with epic artifacts, epic catalyst, I don't think you really need her 6-star. And you know, it's just because it's really hard in the effect resist meta already, and I don't know about the 12%. I don't know if it's that worth it. But for the base stats, it might be, because you get an 80 health, so that might be okay. Let's see here. Aline says would be better if she had a defense break instead of the other debuffs. Yeah, but then that would be kind of like Tenebria upgraded, you know. If she had a defense break, that would be like Tenebria enhanced, because in almost every way she's better than Tenebria. I don't know. I'm fine with the debuffs that they chose. I think it's enough to be really annoying. But I know, Aline, but you wanna debuff her because you wanna cleave. You wanna do A11, right? Rude Master or Rude Magister. You said just got off work. What's Dizzy like in your opinion? So sorry, I already gave my thoughts on Dizzy for the past 20 minutes. So yes, you can watch this later to see my views. All right, so let's continue on. Nothing else to really talk about here. Again, one step closer to us getting the reputation reward, which is a gold transmute stone, and a 4-week event for 1 gold transmute stone is kind of lackluster, to be honest. There's one thing I wanted to say here, just not much else. All right, so just this was interesting. This thing I just have to say, it was funny. I laughed at this because it's like side story. So adjustments have been made to the monster elements and stage mission requirements and special side story visitors from another world. So like a week before, I think when people were kind of like looking at like, you know, Dizzy's side story, and they looked at the mission, it's just like, oh, bring a mage, bring an earth hero. They were just like, oh man, can Dizzy be an earth hero? And again, I was asked, and no disrespect to the person that asked me this. It's just like, hey Jagan, do you think you should make a video on, you know, the speculation on it? And I'm just like, no, there's not enough evidence, and it could just be a mistake, right? We are used to kind of saying like for soul bad guys, it's like bring a fire hero, bring a warrior. So it's just like, oh yeah, that's soul bad guy, no problem. And then for Bikins, it's like bring an earth hero, bring a thief. It's just like, oh yeah, bring Bikin. And then that's why people were saying that, oh, bring a mage, bring an earth hero. You see the pattern, and it just goes to show, definitely I'm gonna avoid as much speculation as possible, because at the end of the day, it's just gonna be kind of like filler content. People are just gonna be like, oh yeah, what's it? But it doesn't matter, right? So I was telling this. So one of my guildies was asking, hey man, like you know, if she's a ice hero or earth hero, that would change, you know, your farming for the altars, right? Like over the weekend, someone asked me this, and I was saying like, well, today on this news day, it's already the ice altar, and tomorrow is gonna be the earth altar. So regardless, you don't even have to pre-farm it, right? So all the speculation was for naught. I just had a kind of a laugh at it, because I know that people went crazy with the speculation, but I ended up just not. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, to be honest. But anyways, it turns out, yeah, it was just a bug. So they fixed it. So now it's gonna reflect ice, right? Ice and mage. Anyways, what? Terry just answered, I want a Malagora go. Wish your S3 would work like Clary's S3 to avoid giving Violet free counters. Oh. So not a hit. I don't know. That's a bit too broken. That's a bit too broken. No, actually no, that wouldn't be broken. Nah, it's fine. That's fine. I totally think. I mean, Violet is literally like one hero you have to worry about, I think. But again, I don't know if anyone would bring her to face Violet anyway. Like on a team that Violet's in, I don't think you would just bring Dizzy. It just doesn't make any sense, because yes, you could miss it, but I mean you could decrease the attack, hit chance, and speed even if you miss it. So it could be still good. I mean, what is Violet gonna do? Like if he has all those debuffs on, I don't know. My thoughts on it. Anyways, I'm gonna end that there. So that has been this session of RBTL, or reading between the lines. So hopefully, you know, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Those of you guys watching on YouTube, do you have any things on thoughts on this? You know, are you impressed with her? I'm kind of glad she's the way she is, as in like she's not super OP, because Biken wasn't super OP, so it wasn't like, you know, I don't want to make it like people are like, oh, I don't want to pull for Biken because I want Dizzy to be super OP. But I think this is a good balance. I think she has a place. It's just that the resistance meta is really kind of making her not as good. But you know, maybe in the future there's some counter to higher effect resistance, and then she'll have her place. I don't know what it's gonna look like. You know, we've all been kind of like thrown off with like new mechanic like detonate during Biken's release, like new mechanics being introduced too. So who's to say that she won't be good in the future, like really good, right? So I would say, you know, if you have the bookmarks, she's cool, she's great, she's pretty, she's hot. Okay, she's hot. You could pull for her, right? And then because she's being a limited hero, I would definitely say, you know, it's nice to have it in your collection. But anyways, that's my thoughts on this. So I'm gonna end that one there. So if you guys have Discord, check out the Discord server, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.